and the grenade. That is very interesting, because usually you tend to see that players more likely want to go for some kind of setup that delivers them that smoke option, where you can just say, okay, I can play super sneaky, but now this will be Mixwell who needs to find the frags. Nades are already getting him down, and it will be Magus who needs to play back onto side. 5 frags he needs to find, because there's a Cloud9 rush coming in just around the corner. Skadoodle should be the first to find, not happening, and Rush mows down another player. Freiburg will throw the grenade back deep into sight. And the boost is even happening, but finally a frag has happened. The Estonian needs to rethink how he wants to take that approach, needs to communicate with Freiburg and Alu, but the two Scandinavians that have played an NIP already together are probably out of chances, and they are. Especially Freiburg, it's time to rotate out of this, because that needs to be safe. Does not even find the head of Tarek. And so it is 1-0 for Cloud9. That execution was explosive and fast, and it worked out more than great, especially the way it was. And just to make you happy, ouch. Ouch. That's not nice. That's seriously not nice. That ping is just more than horrible for Freiburg and his squad, who are now just taking a different kind of approach, not fully forcing through, except HS. He wants to be that hero with his 5-7 in close range. Might be able to spray some bullets there in perfectly. Time to wait for the right approach, because we have 3 players, Freiburg, Alu, as well as the Estonian on the other side. Once he peeks over and once they take the approach, that might be working out fine, and HS, his position is now known, down to 56 HP, and that delivers him just not much more to do as he gets taken down. Automatic will spray some more shots into this, but the entire squad of Cloud9 just rushes through. Tarek also with another happening, and Tarek on 7, Automatic on 5, and Magisk need to put up some magic, which will probably be an impossible task, because a single Deagle without armor might be a nice thing to have, but that is it for that round at least. Cloud9 pick up it, and that is easily 2-0 with OpTic. Some nice money they could go for. I mean, Alu could buy some armor and a pistol if you'd like to, but probably saving up for his AWP in this case. And Freiburg, what's the most interesting about this? He's the IGL. I mean, he has one of the biggest game experience in Counter-Strike Global Offensive. 5 years he have played for NIP, and that is a hell lot of experience. Stewie most down 4 without any problems. He uses the MAC-10 in the gangster style he knows. And Magix throws just his life away as he stands there on the stairs. And the grenades are raining in like bomb fire, and that means OpTic, it's time to buy and it's time to shine. Show what you can do. Not only statistically, not only that you're great names in Counter-Strike, we want to see more than that. We want to actually figure out if the rumors of the European Magic team making some great trouble in NA will come true or not. Bunch of grenades being thrown down towards Banana. One popping off the side of Mixwell. He stays here with 84 HP. Stewie, Automatic, and Skadoodle, they all would have the money if we take a look right here, but they don't upgrade. I understand for Automatic, but Stewie, maybe a little bit of adrenaline that is still up in his body because of the 4 frags he just did around earlier ago, but this is not any unarmored team anymore. This is OpTic Gaming with 4 casual assault rifles and an AWP onto Alu. And this Finnish guy who will, you know, likes to drink a lot of Red Bull and has the most chill voice in the world to do a lot of work with that, but it seems Cloud9, they're focusing majorly onto Banana. Execution now pops in, Automatic throws that smoke. That will not give anyone a disadvantage onto OpTic majorly, because Freiburg stands there well, holds it up very defensively. The line onto the A side is very, very back. Tarek there, he finds the first. That is Freiburg taken down. He will try to make some more space and more room, force out a rotation from Mixwell. But now there comes the execution, and that will now Magic Spawn, who needs to find one. There he sees Stewie. He finds him. Flashbang. That is directly onto him, and Mixwell finds a double as well. So it is only down to Skadoodle. Tidal Layfam with one. But then there's Mixwell, who has the perfect gap and gathers the first. OpTic Gaming can finally breathe and feel the relief of this round, which could have backfired again. As we're seeing this, Cloud9 with a very good setup regarding their money. This is the kind of advantage they had for not upgrading. Losing the round, if that is the best trade, is another decision, but Skadoodle on the AWP, 4 AKs we're seeing. That brings a very equal situation on the board, except Freiburg, who, when we take a look, could have maybe asked Alu for a decent drop, but it didn't see it as necessary. Because, you know, Freiburg is aware of his situation as a fragger. He's more likely there to be the brain of the body that uses all 4 extremities properly. So that's actually a good metaphor. He's the head, you have 1 leg, another leg, and 2 arms. You maybe get the idea of it. But the entire team of Cloud9 are just waiting this out as good as they can. They're just holding it up. And the great thing, what we see about OpTic, they're not doing a single mistake regarding getting too aggressive. This is not happening from them. OpTic Gaming, excuse me, that is what I meant, stay there as they are on their defense line, back onto the A side. And that means 45 seconds for Cloud9, and if they utilize their grenades just properly, if Mixwell uses his flame and Freiburg does the same, they shouldn't have a problem. Magic tries to go with one, does not get anything else. Tarek is here for the refrac, and they're rotating over. The time is still there. 30 seconds they can do something with. And Aloe on the side needs to be that finish opping gun. There comes one. Tarek getting taken down. Automatic thinks twice about the decision, and he goes take the tightest angle. Sees one body, and there comes Skadoodle ripping his head off, which brings Mixwell now into the rotation. Skadoodle jumping a little bit too much. Mixwell finds him. This is the Spanish player getting an important frag. As they're gathering man advantage, but Automatic cannot gather as well. Free control from Stewie. That is a beautiful double he's getting. But HS, he's there to save the day for OpTic. Barely survives it, as somehow the only problem for him probably was that the bullets were running out of the gun of Stewie 2K. So it is going to be round number 5 going on the board for OpTic Gaming. While Cloud9 tried their best once more. It was a smart idea, as they were trying to gather as much information here on the A side. A lot of utility got used here from Freiburg, who was playing towards Pit, but then they said, okay, you know what? That smoke wall here, this refrac, we're going directly back over CT. And that was a really interesting move if there wouldn't have been Alu sniping down CT. Information communication was on. And that logically gives them the opportunity to gather another round. One frag after another, step by step by step, can often be key. You don't need a 5-man, or excuse me, a 5K kind of guy who always goes for the aces, who always decides to be the puck star. This is not happening. And this is not happening here for OpTic Gaming as well. I mean, when we take a look right now, quite balanced actually with what they have on board. And they're still forcing it through onto the A side. The smokes have always been thrown to the side that's been defended by HS as well as Freiburg. But now he stands close, and that is a little bit too fast from Tarek. No chance for the ex-OpTic player, who now needs to suffer from waiting to see what his teammates do, because the time is also ticking. Still enough left, but they need to gather their side as soon as possible. Rush standing there up on the balcony is very helpful, and that means that Alan will probably suffer. Yes, he does. And only a Dane is alive. Magix. Oh well, Magix. You're trying. You're doing your best. But probably chance-wise, that is not going according to plan. as he saves the Dane himself, the money of the entire squad of OpTic. Nah, it's not looking good at all. Because what we're seeing is 2,000 there on Alu, who's pretty much the maximum together with HS, but the rest... It is a decision right now from Freiburg to call, okay, we have 1.5 on 2 players, basically. We should force through with the pistols. Because right now they're economically reset, pretty much. There's no way they can gather anything more than just what they have right now. Which leads us to the conclusion, which leads us to the idea that there needs to be something done as soon as possible. But the Force, as mentioned, as I'm talking too much about what he actually does, they're getting it done. And now the aggressiveness from Cloud9 could be very favorable. And there comes one from Tarek. Nothing else he's gathering. So the man advantage is now on the EU mix. With Mixwell trying to play it out close. Stewie just around the corner with his AK. Rather gathers the bomb and brings it in a safe place. Because once OpTic will come around that corner, it might get a little bit tricky for him. We can basically say so far so good. 2 Molotovs landing down towards Banana. They're forcing that push through while it's going to be Freiburg. That is a smart move Rush taken. Probably not 100% intended, but Freiburg will be an easy target. He is. 58 HP he has left. It's still a good bunch. And HS thinks twice what he shall do. Because OpTic Gaming, they knew Cloud9 has done this before. They knew Cloud9 pushed towards CT. If there wouldn't have been Allo, that could have ended way differently. But with what we're seeing right now, it shouldn't be a problem to get on an A side as soon as possible. It's only the Estonian who might save the life and might save another round for his team. But he's a little bit too scared to push out of this. Waits for his teammates, which can be the right move. The moment of surprise is gone. And there it is, Rush taking him down. That was too long fought through. Some processes you just need to do. And don't overthink what you're doing. Because now it's going to be only Allo and Mixwell with 2 pieces of utility on 1 player. But they decide to rather retreat. There's no way of us gathering this round. And that approach is exactly what you want. Because otherwise that might just backfire too much. And having those 2 guns, that's already nice to have, basically. So, as we're seeing, Cloud9 is gathering their 5th without any problems and with ease. They're not having a single kind of problematic situation they have really faced. OpTic gathering 2, okay. But so far, the plan of Cloud9 works out more than fine. Rush taking that approach together with his team. There comes the 1 push, and Rush as well as Tarek gathering a double, but then there's Freiburg, who just does it with the USPS. The moment of surprise was onto him, and suddenly he got a little bit too aggressive. Could have just gathered 1 of those guns. Now it's the AK that is onto Magisk. Probably saving that one through once more because the options regarding their economy are now looking a little better. The losing bonus is kind of okay. They are seeing right now that there is the opportunity to gather another one. But for some reason, they should just, you know, not getting onto the point where they should have went. At one point, they were just, you know, Freiburg not getting the calls right. This team is not too old, to say it like that, because they're not playing too long together with each other. But OpTic Gaming are really not at that point where you could say they're doing well. It's the map pick of Cloud9, so it's legitimate to say so. In total, they have actually done a good job so far, winning 55% of their entire Inferno matches in the past 3 months. And also, they're better on the CT side, which favors them just massively in the situation right now. Gather 9 rounds as Cloud9, and you can be happy to gather everything. The call of buying came very late here. Tarek taking that early control with Molotov, not leaving too many options that they get actually attacked from the balcony section. We've seen just a few times. players attack through balcony very, very fast. Kenny S has done it sometimes. Now Flashbang forces Magic's back, is lucky enough to survive, but then there comes the push of Stewie, which works down to take at least a Dane, but Mixwell is still there, forcing at least a situation for Cloud9 that is not making them very happy. Smoke is there, 2 players just waiting, and then they rather consider to not go overly aggressive into this. Cloud9 has a very, very interesting setup of playing, because instead of dedicating 2 with 2 players, because we know the default setup on B is just 2B, they're not still forcing through. Mixwell, one of the key fraggers, we don't even need to talk about that, but it could have been still a very reasonable decision. Pings once more. Oh, Freiburg holds up 1. Freiburg holds up 2, but not another one. That would have been too beautiful, but HS is here to save the day, and then now it's only automatic. Excuse me, Skadoodle to take down. And so far, OpTic can finally retrieve it. Also due to the play of Freiburg, where he was just patiently waiting, not shooting too early onto the rooftop. He can't redo this, to be very honest, because Cloud9 are probably checking that 2 or 3 times by now. That's going to be Alu, who plays the middle with his AWP. So far, the only guy he has experience with in his team is Freiburg. Have worked together quite well back in the day. So far, so good. Nothing to be scared about. We've seen Stewie pushing through Banana last time very aggressively. Not a repetition. Seeing the North American players are taking their time with what they are doing. Full AK setup except Stewie, who plays himself on that Galil. Money can sometimes be a very mad person. It's one of the biggest foes, actually, in Counter-Strike Global Offensive, but now it's going to be that approach once more that will focus onto the A side. Tarek made his way down. He's in pit. Now he just needs to find the right angle to find a player from OpTic Gaming. Plays it tight with his AWP, but as we see it now, the approach comes in, and Stewie finds another, as it is actually Rush taking him down. And Mixwell as well as Magisk, they're caught up onto the B side, and they're just like, what the hell happened? There were Freiburg and co, because suddenly it once more goes down the drain, down the hill, for OpTic Gaming, who are playing from Europe right now. They actually said, okay, guys, we need to do something about this. We're playing at the New York server because it's, you know, on the East Coast. So it's working kind of fine for Europe, but still not happy. If it is an excuse, I wouldn't say so. But that will also work. Mixwell. Barely finding it. Got a little bit tricky already here. At one point it had to happen. 4 players of Cloud9 were alive. If they would have had Mixwell still sticking around somewhere in construction, that would have been a little bit unusual, to say it like that. The pistols are once more onto OpTic Gaming as they're forced through to not play with anything else. I mean, Mixwell, Freiburg, Magisk, and HS are trying themselves with that 50 cal pistol, but otherwise, Alu, very dangerous play he takes. Everybody got the information at least. Still no rotation coming in from the other guys. And that just means once more a side is being taken, and Cloud9 will probably take that half as well, because all 5 players are still alive. Shots from Mixwell are not on. Does the same go for Magisk? Maybe 1? Yes, 1. Nothing else, though. That is all he's getting. So Cloud9, that just means, thankfully for them, if you're a Cloud9 fan, they get up their 8th. And that is crucial in this case, because the CT side is better for C9. They know how to play the defense roles. And when you're gathering so many rounds as the aggressor, hey, that's cool. That's nice. A lovely middle that they're all playing. I'm just kind of surprised they're not going for all the take there onto the grenades, but there comes 4, and Automatic takes down all players rushing through. And Tarek, he just grabs the last, says, Automatic, I'm sorry. The ace is not for you. I'm taking the Dane. And there we have a pause being called. Very important to see that. We can take a look at the scoreboard right this second. Oh boy. It is not going as intended for OpTic Gaming. Not their pick, of course. That is nice. The next map is so unfavorable for Cloud9 in total. They are just not on the level to really play the next map very good. If I'm not totally wrong, and please see me, yes, we're playing next Overpass, where they just can't really perform. They also barely played it in the past 3 months, so maybe Prague was massive. But it is, you know, going interesting. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen on our next map, because Cloud9, they're just sealing the deal step by step, but at one point they should have this packed. With that being said, oh, there we should be good to go in our next, as the, you know, pause is being called off. OpTic Gaming talked about this. Freiburg really needed to figure a way. And it will be that approach that counts right now. Getting 6 rounds as OpTic would be so favorable, because you at least have some buffer to play with, to gather some kind of idea to still have that terrorist side working well, because the frags are good onto the team of OpTic. We don't need to talk about this, but now Freiburg finds one. Beautifully gathers the frag onto Tarek. Position being known. And he gathers another, and he gathers another, and he gathers maybe the head. He's gathering 4, and now it's only Automatic who will try his best, and that was Freiburg. Once you give him a break, and once you give him a banana, he's suddenly hunting you down for one frag after another. So that will be only him surviving. Cloud9 with 1, and will just actually be turned around by the North American player. Allo just waits around, and he will try to find that frag. There's another one happening. This can't be true. He will try to gather that one as well, and it's only Maddox. He's down to 8 HP. Automatic gather that frag, but it's not happening. A 4K from Freiburg nearly does not secure the round for OpTic. And Cloud9, they just have to suffer when you do a break and you suddenly come back with one of the most massive plays. Automatic going nuts, Freiburg going nuts, and we're just in round number 14 right now. Incredible rounds. You know, when you have your IGL making 4 frags suddenly, even with his USPS, and then you're nearly suffering. Good fragger. Good tag from Stewie2K. Still had to change up his position a little. But at least they're having a little glimpse of hope during that part of the game. There comes the flashbang Skadoodle. Cannot comprehend what actually just happened here. Got saved by his teammate Stewie. And Magisk need to retreat a little bit back. 31 HP are not giving him the basis to take any more duels. And thankfully for him, Alu is just waiting around the corner. And that is, you know, after that round, you just have to recover a little. Just too insane what we have just seen. And that might just repeat. First of all, Cloud9 focusing not really on any of the sites yet. And it goes out of the door, goes out of order, has assistance of his teammate with the smoke. But they're once more faking it through, while Magisk will stay alone. No, Allo reads it right. Goes up on a coffin with his AWP, needs to find an entry as early as possible. Finds a good flick onto Stewie. That is number 1. 3 more to find. It's Cloud9. Gotta be really fast about this if they want to gather anything else. Alu barely survives here. And then you have Magix maybe doing some magic. Yes, he does with 2. And this leaves Rush on to his own. And if that was the smartest move, can't be doubted. But he saves at least himself an AWP, covers himself, and says, okay, I got that sniper rifle secured. That's something. 5-9 is the scoreline. And OpTic Gaming might be able to secure a 6, which is kind of decently working against a team that is so much more favorable onto Inferno. And in round number 15, the end of half number 1. Once more does the classic approach towards the A side. Flashbang hits it good. Alu finds one, but also a second rush. It's lucky enough to gather one. In this case, it was the Finn falling down early on. Once more focused on Freiburg with one. Freiburg with two. Beautiful frags he's finding, and it's only about to get Skadoodle. What was that flick from HS? Was it only the last bullet that was hitting him? That was okay. I mean, why not? When you're a young Estonian player, why not do some crazy shots? It's legitimate. And with that being said, half number 2 is starting up just a second. And we might figure out how OpTic Gaming will take the aggressive approach, because we're seeing 2 on the utility. It's going to be the 2 ex-NIP players. Smoke onto Freiburg, the IGL, as well as onto the Opper. And they need to do it wisely. And if you're not quite aware what is actually up, if you're thinking, holy smokes, this is Magisk, this is Mixwell, this is Freiburg, why are they playing so not good? They're playing with 100 ping. They're playing from Europe right now on a New York server. And if you ever played with a high ping, you can imagine how horrible it is to play against a pro team. But now the execution starts. Stu is fully smoked through, leaving his teammate automatic. They're caught up in the flames, but at least he finds one. Then he gets caught up by Alu. And shots are being exchanged. 9mm and 45 ACP are raining onto that B site. Skadoodle with nice wallbangs, hitting Alu just bit by bit. But it's only a guy from Spain and one from Denmark. Secure anything here, and Mixwell will be the guy who could be the savior about this. Tries to gather himself away around, but no. Rush finds him, and that means Cloud9 are gathering their 10th, going into double digits. And when we take a look once more, those pings are not really great. The scoreline of Skadoodle, not really great as well. And as we can talk about him, the 24-year-old player has a problem that in the past few months, he actually went down by 0.2 rating points entirely. Shroud has left, nothing has left, but even beforehand, he really had a problem getting back into the game. And that's kind of unfortunate to see, after especially Cloud9 got fully eliminated during ESL 1 New York against FaZe. That was quite brutal if you watched it. It's very slow-paced. Very interesting call. Maybe they're using this to just talk about the game once more, to just stay there into the round. I mean, they can't call a pause at this moment or don't want to, and just say, okay, guys, we need to talk about this game right now, but that seems to be the case. Aloe as well as Magisk will try to take the approach towards House if there would not be Tarek with an M4 going in as soon as possible. Don't care. They just go full, what the hell are you actually doing here, Cloud9 mode, because they want to go into the A side. No armor. Screw it, though. Let's push it. And Magisk starts off with that push. Flame is just landing directly onto him, but logically the guns are being favorable. Rush with so many frags, actually burning Freiburg alive. And killing a Viking. But that just means Cloud9 will have the option. Nope, actually not. To gather just more guns, but what I actually meant, and that was miscommunication in my own head, OpTic Gaming, they now can go for the AKs, and that is just beautiful to see, that they are able to gather and able to achieve that rifle setup as soon as possible. We all know it. We all know that feeling when you finally grab an AK in your hand, and especially for players like HS or so. Must be lovely. Well, actually being the best player right now in the setup OpTic Gaming. played for Existence and G-Bots back in 2015 while he was in the Spanish scene. And since the roster change, he didn't gather too many negative quotes. Same as Cloud9 did, they want to take the exactly same approach. Skadoodle, though, a little bit more passive, throws that smoke as early as possible, and the rotation comes in. So he just waits to get the info. Oh, and there he has seen it. Interesting approach, because he wants to maybe fake it through, say, okay, maybe I'm behind that smoke, but then Stewie could come in hot. There's one, there's two, and maybe the third. No, Magisk can't deny to get a free K here onto Stewie, but beautiful work he has done with the shotgun from the counter-terrorists. This is the Jake we know. That he can gather so many frags with just a shotgun. Smartly played by him, because he threw that smoke directly behind him to say, okay, you know, maybe I'm going here on back onto site. I will surely not be here. And then, ta-da, sup, hello, I'm Stewie 2K, and I'm actually doing it that way. So, well executed by him, well done. Oh, that was lovely to see. Smart. Tiny things can sometimes make the difference. And we have just seen that this is the case right now. And OpTic, it looks like they just have to give this map away for North American opponents. Because they're just stronger on this map. They have chosen this Cloud9. And with that being said, they know what they're doing here. Tarek being their new IGL. Stewie mentioned that this is a little bit of a new setup they got to get used to. But you realize that they're getting used to it quite fast. But besides that, ping disadvantage is massive on them, no doubt. Because see, that is very painful if you have to actually gather it like that. Oh, it's happening well, and yeah, only the pistols. Alu can try his best, but the Finnish player sprays through, gathers himself an AK. Tarek being flashed as well, but he gets the frag first. And OpTic, the EU-based team, just see Cloud9 winning round after round after round after round. So far, so good. Looks very nice what we're seeing from the North American side. I mean, Tarek somehow have done his homework like a good boy with all the utility we're seeing for the counter-terrorists. There shouldn't be any problem from them holding off Freiburg and his squad as long as possible to deny their bomb plants and to deny the option to gather any kind of more rounds. 3 more it only is for Cloud. No time to choke, and no time to do any mistakes. Tarek being full flash. Skadoodle got a double, actually. Then it all falls apart. T-Tour is at its finest, but Cloud with 14. And it once more decimates and shuts down the entire economy, or most of the economy, of OpTic Gaming. And the pause is being called, understandable. And to just actually let you know what is going to happen next, we're going to see Overpass, the pick by the guys from OpTic Gaming, who are suffering from the horrible ping situation. Is no fun, definitely. It's no situation where you really think, oh, this is great. Finally, I can play with a 100 ping on the map I have picked. But they have to. There's no other option. They were in the gaming house in the USA not too long ago, but they moved back to Europe. Somehow they are still going back to NA, but we're going to figure out soon. And with that being said, logically, welcome to the EPICENTER stream. My name is Sesht. I hope you enjoy your time so far. And that makes it also great. It makes it also lovely to gather some more experience. And I've heard a lot that I should say gather less, and we're actually arranging that. But no problem, of course. We're getting back into it. The pause has been stopped. And so we're seeing OpTic once more only onto the pistols. They don't want to give Cloud9 that 15th. They don't want to find them successful with the round that could tie it. They'd rather have just pistols and the opportunity to keep Cloud9 at the 14th, but this will probably not happen because 3 players are playing towards Banana. Stewie is once more aggressive and standing. There he finds 1, and there he finds 2. Flashbang pops in perfectly. The slaughterhouse is being called Inferno. And the butcher is Cloud9, because they're ripping off one hat after another. Sad story for OpTic. Last breath of the nearly dead body of the Europeans. Waiting for what Freiburg is up to. He just waits probably for the ball from Nick's wall. Flashbang pops, and then it's good to go, but nothing really would happen, actually. They're keeping their pace, they're keeping their slow style, because the North Americans know it's no reason to over-aggress this automatic with a beautiful headshot onto Alu. He'll find his head somewhere else. It's ripped apart one by one. Stewie, even with a beautiful frag, just barely through the smoke. Finally, Tarek is down, so that's one less. But an Estonian and a Swede walk onto Inferno. Now it's up to you to continue that joke. Because so far, that doesn't look really brilliant. Freiburg is aware of it. There comes automatic with 1, and HS, no chance to survive.